One of the biggest problems I hear from DIYers is that they can't transport lumber. And the hardest lumber for them to transport is plywood. Your average plywood sheet is 4 feet by 8 feet. And yeah, that's not going to fit in any standard car. If you have a top rack, it may fit on top, but that's a dangerous way to carry plywood because it can catch the wind and take flight. Some trucks aren't even suitable for carrying around plywood sheets because the beds may be short or they already have equipment boxes in them. So what can you do? There's an option that can help, and most DIYers aren't even really aware that it exists. So that's what I'm going to talk about today on the Honest Carpenter Show. I feel like everyone already knows that Lowe's and Home Depot and some lumberyards will actually cut down plywood sheets for you. They use these big panel saws and they can cross-cut sheets or make long rips. That's good in a pinch, and sometimes it's even free or it only costs a couple bucks. But it has its drawbacks too. One, they tend to tear boards to pieces. They don't keep these blades very sharp, and operators fly through the cuts. So they're often messy and they're not always precise. You can ruin useful parts of a good board that way. And two, you're usually on the hook for the whole sheet of lumber. Ply sheets are not cheap, and you may not even really want the whole board, even in a couple pieces. There's a compromise here that can save you money and time and get you only what you need for a small project. They're called pre-cut panels. The big box stores know that this is a problem for their clients, so somewhere along the way they began offering pre-cut sheets of plywood. These are the same plywood products that they're offering elsewhere in full sheets, but they've gone ahead and cropped them to more manageable sizes. The most frequent dimensions are 4 foot by 4 foot half sheets, which are often stored down on the floor or at lower shelf level. Then there are a ton of 2 foot by 4 foot quarter panels, and they tend to get stacked overhead. And when I say a ton, I really mean that most stores offer quite a few options. You'll find everything from lower quality BC plywoods to MDF and 1/4 inch masonite. You'll find a lot of pieces of OSB, and you'll even get the better grades of plywood, including the highest grade panels they carry, like oak and maple. These pre-cut panels will often be in the lumber stack somewhere, but they won't always be with the full-size sheets of plywood. Sometimes you have to look around a bit to find them. If you want to avoid the search, just ask someone in building materials where they keep their pre-cut plywood sheets, and they'll usually point you straight to them. The beauty of these pre-cut sheets is that you can get only as much as you need for a small project. I've used them numerous times on jobs that only required small plywood panels. And they're priced to reflect the difference in size. If a certain sheet costs, say, $45, you can typically expect to pay about $25 for a pre-cut half sheet of the same material. There's maybe just a tiny markup on them, but it's usually not too much. And the best part is that 4x4 sheets will fit into most vehicles. You can lay down a back seat if you have to, and you can sometimes slide them diagonally through the back passenger area. And 2 foot by 4 foot panels, quarter sheets, will fit just about anywhere. You can usually carry them under one arm. These sheets are so convenient because you can just grab them and go. No waiting around for someone to cut them down, and you don't have to worry about that person making a messy cut. Most of these panels get shipped to the store pre-cut, and they're handled at the mill with a bit more precision and care, so the edge quality tends to be better. That said, here's a couple quick things to keep in mind. 1, the panels will not be perfect half sheets or quarter sheets. Since they're cut with the saw, they're losing about an 1/8 inch or a 1/16 of an inch to the kerf. So they won't be perfectly 2 foot or 4 foot in certain dimensions. If you don't know what kerf is, please watch my video on it. This concept is fundamental to carpentry. Also, you typically won't find linear rips, no 8 foot long pieces. So if you need something over 4 feet, you'll most likely still have to get a full plywood sheet and break it down. In the future, I'm going to cover that topic because it is important. I'll show you how to break down full plywood sheets quickly and pretty easily and without too much mess. I'm also going to talk about how to carry plywood and other types of lumber. Because if there's one thing I frequently see people get wrong, it's carrying lumber. They tend to do it dangerously and awkwardly. I've got some really important tips for that topic. But that said, what did you think about this video? Did you already know about pre-cut sheets? Do you already use them? And what do you use them for? Let me hear about it down in the comments. I'll link some tools below that are good for working with plywood. You'll see some saws, blades, straight edges. Feel free to browse those products in the description down below. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to check back in for more videos coming up soon. And please consider subscribing and hitting that little bell button to turn on notifications. That way you'll know the moment we post something. I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com. I'll see you next time.